Okay, so of our segment of Evil Mustache Productions, Midnight, whatever they described last time.
Have no name.
We went to see Battleship.
And it was much better than the trailers made it out to be. The trailers make it out to look like a Michael Bay movie. I was expecting this movie to be Transformers 2, but with salt water.
It's more like Independence Day. It's more like a Ron Emmerich film. It's like I think it's actually Roland Emmerich film. It's like I almost think it's like almost every one of his films put together, and someone watched all these films and made a film of their own. It really feels that way.
The first 10 to 15 minutes of this movie are a trial to get through.
Yeah, I actually had to take my hat off because I had to get like.
Yes. It starts with a supposedly funny scene of the main character generally being a fuck up and breaking into a convenience store
to impress a girl by getting a
chicken burrito.
Because chicks dig chicken burritos.
Well, apparently that's what he was doing it for.
The thing that got me about that was the bartender just being a total dick. The girl comes up and first of all, the girl's like gorgeous, she comes up and she's like, "Can I have a chicken burrito?" And the bartender like closes the microwave, says, "The kitchen just closed." That is the least believable thing in this movie. The aliens are easy to swallow. This particular guy, this bartender, not doing what this girl asks him to do, that is just unimaginable.
That's ridiculous.
It's actually kind of amazing because this movie tries several times to insert comedy throughout the movie, and it fails every time.
Yeah,
but we did laugh at this movie. We laughed when it was trying to be serious.
Yes, that's when it was at its best. The action sequences were generally pretty good. They did really work hard to shoehorn in the Battleship board game references.
Yeah, there's a sequence where these aliens land and they can't find them. They're not appearing on radar or sonar. They can't locate them by anything other than sight. But they eventually figure out that there's these buoys spaced in apparently very equally distant rows of
grids of buoys.
Oh God!
And they figure out, okay, when they pass by a buoy, it will register a signal. We can relay back to our ship. We can then tell where they are.
We can shoot at them from range.
Yeah, we can fire a missile at them, because we fire them at close range, we're going to get totally slaughtered by them.
So it led to about 10 to 15 minutes of shouting out, "Foxtrot 22!
Idaho, or 52, just like something like that.
Yeah. So there was your, B4, C8. That's how they got that in. Then they not getting into that yet. But overall, the action sequences worked. I thought the weapon was pretty goofy.
I actually was kind of disappointed they only had like 2 weapons, basically.
Yeah. The enemy ship shot pegs.
Little grenade things.
They were like delayed missiles, basically. They would hit the ship, stick in it, burrow in a bit, and then explode.
And also they had these little
they had these little ball things that they never actually beat in the movie. They blow a couple up, but it's not like they figure out a way to deal with it. But there's a scene where one of these things explodes, and I honestly had no fucking clue what was going on, because there's like this blue light, then it's like everyone's like thrown back, like from an explosion. This is in the trailers.
Yeah.
Then they're like pulled in, then they're thrown back again. What the fuck just happened?
Aliens turned them into yo-yos.
I thought it was like a camera trick they're trying to do, just like dramatize the point, but I don't know.
I think they just thought it was a cool shot, and they didn't worry about logistics.
But the name Battleship, I thought was kind of a ripoff in this case.
Yeah, the main battleship for the enemy alien things, which they never give a name to.
Not bad. 90 to 95% of this movie they are fighting from a destroyer, which isn't a battleship. They actually make a point early on to saying, the battleship is different from a destroyer.
I'd say about 3/4.
Well, there are other ships in the Battleship game than the Battleship.
Yeah,
Well, that's true.
but
You only get
the
one
fucking
battleship.
title is Battleship.
Yeah.
But I don't want to get into that. My biggest problem with this movie is there were two things in it that made no fucking sense from like a sci-fi standpoint. It starts, the first thing is text on screen saying that in 2005 we discover a Earth-like planet. In 2006 we build a communications array to send a signal there. What Earth-like planet can we send a signal to that it will reach it in 6 years?
Furthermore, how do we even know that sending a signal there would work in the first place? I mean,
Well, that's just a general, let's see what happens kind
yeah,
of thing.
but they built a
But
whole...
the signal gets from Earth to this planet, and then the ships get from this planet to Earth in 6 years. What the fuck's going on there?
Maybe it took
Well, it's
our little
obviously-
probe thing 5 years, and the aliens got here in 1 year
and
because they have better
were
technology.
traveling at light speed because
Yeah, they were traveling at like 60. The other thing that really got me is these ships just drop out of orbit. They don't do anything to lessen their impact. They just completely from the sky drop out of orbit.
into the ocean, and
Into the ocean.
and one into Hong Kong.
Yeah, one breaks apart in entering Earth's atmosphere. And
And that's a plot point.
yes, that is the most significant plot point of the movie. But it falls into the ocean. It does nothing to slow its descent. And these things are fucking huge. These things are probably twice the size of the destroyers in the movie, maybe more so. So these things have to weigh tons and tons. If you take something that big and that heavy and you drop it into the ocean from space, the resulting tsunami would wipe out like all life on Earth. Let alone dropping 4 of them.
And my personal favorite of this was the radar dishes they were using to power this beacon thing. Apparently they had to spin and be powered by a turbine. I don't even know what that is.
I thought the performances generally were pretty lackluster. The only standout for me was there's a Japanese naval officer.
Who gets promoted to captain, I guess, by
I'm not sure what rank he started at. I didn't really recruit him by any rank.
Yeah. He
But
clearly wasn't a captain. He was.
I don't know. But I thought he did pretty well. I thought he handled that. He came out pretty good.
And to support this Independence Day at Sea theory, they have a scientist character who warned them of all that's going to happen.
Yeah.
And he was very clearly a Jeff Goldblum standard.
Even kind of looked like Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah. If he didn't shave her.
Okay, then it gets into the third act, and that's when things get like super goofy. Because they're on this destroyer, and their destroyer gets
Destroyed.
destroyed. Yes. So the only ship left anywhere in Hawaii.
And they're cut off completely, so they
Yeah,
can't.
there's this big superdome over the whole area. But the only ship left anywhere in Hawaii is a decommissioned battleship. And now, in the opening, one of the first scenes is Liam Neeson giving this speech starting off these war games, which were called, what was it, RIM something International?
Yes. Yeah.
It's,
It's
holy
not-
shit,
it's-
that was a
it's-
stupid name.
It was
But-
some kind of international military exercise.
Yeah, it was big naval games, basically. But he's giving this opening speech, and he's talking about how great this battleship was. And then he points to these, like, really old dudes in the seats, and he's like, and here we have the brave men that served aboard this ship. I fucking called it at that point. When their destroyer goes down, and they need to use the only ship left, the battleship, they bring the 70 and 80-year-old men in to crew the damn thing.
And to be honest, they kind of kicked ass.
Yeah, I honestly think they might have been like real veterans. Because if they were actors, they were terrible actors. That was that was something. There was a lot of this. Like, okay, there are two main plots. There's the guy in the bubble fighting the ships with the destroyer, and then there's his girlfriend,
who is the daughter of the admiral.
Yeah, who's a physical therapist, trying to get this guy, lost both his legs, his confidence back by taking him for a hike in these mountains where it just so happens to be the place they need to be to save the Earth.
Yeah, because the communication...
It's where the communications array is. And the aliens want to send back a message to say, hey, we found a great place here. Bring the fleet, you know.
And I don't see what's really stopping them from doing that now.
I think they're all dead.
No. I mean, like... Well, he said obviously they want to bring back, the reinforcements from their planets. So what's to stop them from saying, hey, we can't get a signal back from our men, why don't we send a whole fleet out to annihilate them? I don't know.
That might be the sequel. But...
I mean, they established that they want to stop this communication because it will bring all the other aliens back. But
what the fuck is in the bushes?
I don't really see how that affects anything. How does...
I think the double amputee guy was a real double amputee.
Well,
I think he was a real, veteran.
Yeah.
Because if he was an actor, he wasn't a very good actor. But that was pretty cool. No. Like I said, the only one that... I mean, Liam Neeson was cool for the time he was on screen, but he was on screen for 10 minutes.
Well, they make a big thing in, the trailers to this movie that they actually used actual Navy personnel in this movie. They actually...
Yeah.
Which I thought was pretty cool. The background chatter in the scenes, people yelling, they're on our 20 and all that bullshit, sounded genuine as far as I know. I thought that worked pretty well. But I mean, making an actual wounded veteran one of your main characters, I thought that was pretty cool,
Yeah. And he kicks ass, too.
Yeah.
Well, actually...
I thought that scene was kind of really silly. But
How does he kick ass if he doesn't have legs?
he has metal legs.
Oh.
And he used to be a Golden Gloves, so he punches really hard.
Ah, okay.
But actually, that was something that kind of... Again, this is where they're trying to be serious, and it's actually kind of funny. Is that, they're stuck, and they're, the guy's, they're stuck, and this alien is, menacing towards them, and he's like, I'll take this.
Yeah. It's like, I got this. And just starts punching him. The thing kind of looked like Iron Man, and he just starts punching him.
Because the things are lizard people.
Yeah, they're in space suits. They're armored.
Because they can't stand sunlight. It's too bright for them.
Yeah. One of the things, though, one of the problems I have with this movie is that the real hero of this movie is random chance. When the ships are coming into Earth, there are 5 of them. One of them breaks up on entry, and it's the communication ship. The rest of the movie is the aliens trying to use our communications array to send messages back to their homeworld.
And apparently they're completely incapable of recognizing what you are unless you're actually threatening them.
No, I think they knew what they knew, but we'll get to that in a second. I just want to... If that communication ship hadn't been broken up, movie would have been over in 5 minutes and Earth is dead.
I thought you said random chants, people were just chanting out of nowhere and that saved the day.
Yes. So
aliens go away.
So the ships had to break, and it had to be that one ship, or else the entire movie couldn't happen. So the plot device that drove the entire film, allowed the entire story to happen, was luck.
I don't have much of a problem with that. That's really common in stories.
I don't know. It's never been as in my face as it was in this. But then, what he was talking about is that the aliens, it'll show their point of view a bunch of times, and they'll see things in a computer readout type deal.
Like a HUD interface. And
yeah.
Things will display green, and they leave them alone. Even if it's this is clearly a ship
that
has guns, but we're going to leave it alone because it's green.
Yeah, if the ships aren't pointing their guns at them, the outline's green and they don't shoot. They land in suburban areas. They see people. The outlines are green. They don't kill them. But if those same people try to hit them with a pipe, they kill them. So that whole thing of why they went out of their way to avoid civilian casualties. If they're going to like colonize our planet, I found kind of weird.
I just don't get it.
Yeah. But all of this aside, all of the problems that we had with this movie, I still had a lot of fun with it.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
When it's not trying to be funny, it is pretty enjoyable. And the action is really good.
It's not a good movie. It's a bad movie. But it's like Independence Day bad. You know? It's fun. That's really all there is to it.
Yeah.
Out of 10, I think I'd have to give it a 7. Maybe an 8.
I'll go with a 7.
Okay. Just one quick question. What do you think the next big board game movie is going to be?
Scrabble.
They're making Monopoly. They're making Clue.
They already made Clue.
They're making another Clue, and this one's going to be serious.
I see.
They're making
Oh, that's
Ouija
stupid.
Board, the movie.
Seriously?
Yes. I think I heard they're making Candyland. And I don't expect it to happen, but I really want them to make Hungry Hungry Hippos.
Yeah. I already plotted something out with the trip to Africa and like rare white coconuts.
I just want like the streets of Washington, D.C. and just waves of hippos running down the street, eating everyone they see. The president locked up in the White House on the roof with an AK-47. I'll get you, hippos! That's the movie I want to see.